Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Alumni Talk number 37. We have with us today Aurobinda Pradhan, more popularly looks like known as Auro. So we will stick to Auro, refer him as Auro. Um, it's a pleasure to have uh, yet another entrepreneur in our forum. We have had in the recent past few of them. We had Utkarsh, we had Atish Patel, then we had Samudra Sen. I mean, it shows the kind of depth of entrepreneurship that this forum and this group seem to have. And I'm so glad that each of them have started their entrepreneurship journey in their own ways, built up their business, scaled their business amazingly, beautifully, keeping their own conviction. And in that line of those we have today, Auro, who currently heads a company, a product company, which is Cubyts. It's very interesting that Auro has ventured into what would be a very, very risky proposition to actually run a product business. That's a software product business. So that is the height of where our community is growing, and of course he will trace his entire career starting from his first job to how he landed here. Um, I think it's very important to note that the kind of experiences such people bring into the table. And I had the opportunity of visiting his office, uh, very, very agile, bubbly with youngsters. I mean, it's amazing. If you get a chance to visit his office, you should. Extremely inspiring to actually engage with him and his team. I know that this is going to be a very, very exciting session. I also would like to thank Oro especially for the fact that he has not been keeping well since weekend. But even though I wanted him not to stress himself, but he said it's a commitment that he has taken up and he will live up to it. So thanks, Oro, for that. And with with this invitation, I'd like to hand over the session to you, Oro. It's all yours.
Thanks, Ravi. Really appreciate the kind and thanks for dropping in my office. All are in welcome. We are in SSR layout 19th Lane. It's pretty easy to find out. Look for MTR coffee shop. MTR, pretty famous shop in SSR. We are pretty close to that. Okay, having said that, I have a little cough since past 2 3 days, so I might be coughing a little bit. So excuse me on that. Um, so without wasting too much of time, let me get into my talk. So Ravi wanted me to take up this topic, and I think it's pretty valid and pretty excited to talk about this as well. And who won't be excited to talk about themselves? I'm no exception. So why I believe entrepreneurship makes me a better designer? Very exciting topic. Um, Before that, let me give you a small background of how it all started. I did my architecture from university, that is NIT Bhopal in 97. And we all know IDC, I passed out in 2000. And then I worked with SAP Labs India in Bangalore in 2008. And sometime in 2007, I wanted to study a little more about management. So I went to Bangalore and did my EGMP there. It was a one year um, weekend only classroom sessions. Then after 2008, I have been an entrepreneur throughout. I started PeepalDesign. It's still running. It's a successful company. And last year, I started Cubyts, which is a product company, it's a SaaS-based platform that is like, you know, like for DevOps, you have Jira. For DesignOps, uh, I'm building Cubyts. And entrepreneur since 2008, and I think that's the most I have done my entire career. Uh, More importantly, I don't know anything other than entrepreneurship. So this is something that we always think about, right? We can be very comfortable, keep doing what we do, keep having
Just
a
a
good job.
second, Auro.
Yeah, sure.
There is a feedback from someone that there is a volume not being consistent at your end.
Is it? Okay. Okay. So maybe because of my
With the
voice.
volume, not the content.
Yeah, yeah. Is it
No.
better?
This is
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
Much
Yeah.
better.
Okay, maybe I'll just keep the what do you call it? Mic closer to my mouth. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what I was saying is, we get comfortable with the way life takes us, right? But if we really want to do something exciting and interesting, probably entrepreneurship is the way, right? And we can build our own path. We can discover new paths, and that's where I went. We all start somewhere, right? We all study, and we all have certain traits. I had artistic traits, right? I didn't know about any other designer traits that I have mentioned here. I know that okay, these are designer traits. I didn't know them. I was very curious. That was the only trait that I had. And when I joined architecture, I it was a very focused education. So I developed certain traits. And looking back, it looks like I developed certain traits very well. I groomed myself thanks to the teachers and thanks to the friends and environment. Then I joined IDC, and IDC changed my perspective completely. I mean, it looked like design is not one thing, it can be anything. Call it motion design or animation design or graphic design or product design or content design. I mean, there is no end to it. And I felt like I am in a massive place where I have to learn so much. Of course, 2 years was too little, but I learned whatever I could, as much I could. But if you see that mm, what I thought that I know, it didn't grow because it looked like so much that I thought I'm still stuck in that little place that I was. Then I left IDC, and I thought that okay, I'm grooming to be a good designer. When I joined the international company and worked with tons of international designers, worked with companies like Microsoft and Adobe to integrate their products into SAP ecosystem, the perspective changed completely. It's a very different world. It's a constellation in itself, and I thought that I will be growing to be a complete designer very soon. I filed tons of patents, and I had so many contacts, beautiful network. I mean, learning every day. Uh, but what happened is, all of a sudden, the realization dawned in 5 years that I am nowhere. There's so much. The design world is so vast that my whatever little thing that I have learned is nothing in comparison to where I could be. All right, so that helped me in a way. I was still a good designer in SAP. I was doing very well respected. So typical to the software companies in India, I was asked to be a manager pretty soon. By 2006-7, I was asked to be a manager. I said, boss, I'm a designer. I don't know how to be a manager. They said, you don't have to really know anything to be a manager. You just be a manager. I said, I want to be an architect. They said, there is no architect job in India. Okay, what should I do? I mean, if I have to be a manager, then I better learn about management. They said, we don't need to learn about management. But okay, I didn't take that. I said, okay, let me learn. So I went to IIM and said, hey guys, do you have any course for executives that I can take up on management? They said, okay, we have EGMP. And I learned in 2007, I joined them, and I learned about all these things about economics, about business law and commercial knowledge, etc. Most importantly, I had 60 classmates who are not designers. First time in my life, I studied with engineers, so I had seen a lot of engineers, and I have seen tons of architects. I had seen tons of designers. But here I saw people with family business, people coming from telecom, manufacturing, and healthcare, and software, of course, and tons of people with varied background with a lot of interesting ideas. I built my network there, and that gave me a very different perspective. Apart from learning these managerial topics, and it triggered something in me. I mean, I became self-aware. I realized that okay, I am also of that type. I'm not just a designer. I can also run something, build something. I got confidence. I thought that, okay, hey, I can jump and start doing something. This environment gave me an opportunity to think ahead of what I was doing that time. And if you see that designer traits and entrepreneur traits, net, I gained these few more traits, right? Confidence, risk appetite, good network, sense of market, self-awareness. All these things happened. And but honestly, it's just impossible to have all the traits of designers and entrepreneurs in one person. I had four key ones: curiosity, learning, risk appetite, and good network. Uh, it's a no-brainer, so I don't want to explain this. And in 2008, I resigned from my job. And during that time, a senior of mine from SAP, who was a vice president that time, he had quit and joined a insurance software company. And he called me. He said, "Auro, would you like to take up a consulting opportunity?" I said, "Why not?" And that I took it as an opportunity. You can call it foolhardiness or curiosity. I had some knowledge about how to work on large scale software products, and I had bunch of good friends who could help me out here and there. So I said, okay, let's jump in. So I started People Design in 2008 with a 6 months contract in hand to revamp 6 different products of an insurance software company. In 6 months, I had white hair, and I had never worked so hard in my entire 8-year career before that. So, did it make me a better designer? The question is, and the answer is probably yes, and yes, and yes, and why not? Because it helped me to learn so much. In the first 6 months of my consulting itself, I learned how to deal with the client, how to ask for money, how to understand this massive set of products, all single-handedly, because I didn't know that how many people I really need. I was always had a set of team members with me to help me out, and the projects were not so large, right? In product companies, you have smaller projects, some tweaks here and there, some new features, etc., etc. But here it was all brand new. So my learnings were like exploded. It was crazy, beautiful, at the same time painful. And time passed, and after 2 years, one of my team members from SAP, he said, okay, I want to join you. So friendship, network, trust, all these things came into picture in building my company, and he joined me as a co-founder. During this period, um, earlier, if you look at my design career, earlier I had a job, so money was coming. So anybody asked me for some advice, I would just give free advice. Somebody asked to give a design solution, I would give some design solution. I never put a price on my help. But as an entrepreneur, you don't have that choice. That is the only thing that you are doing, and that's the um, um, only job that you have. So I had to put a price on my expertise. It's a big learning for me, haggling over price, haggling over when it can be delivered. But definitely it changed me quite a lot, and I started valuing my own expertise the moment I started putting a price on it. And one thing that I as a designer never did earlier was a negotiation, right? It's not about money negotiation. It's about, when can I deliver this? How many people will work on this? What value do you expect? What is the scope of the project, right? Everything is a negotiation. In the beginning, it was very painful because I didn't know how to negotiate. The client would say, I want this, and I expect that I have to deliver what the client said. Without defining the scope, you tend to burn out completely. So if you want to keep your sanity, deliver something that is useful within the time period, within the price point, within the quality parameters that you have set forth, then you have to negotiate, right? The one thing that you should focus on is the quality. You say that the cost is always linked directly with the quality of the output, right? I learned it So that is another beautiful learning. It definitely helped me in becoming a much better designer. Then um, I don't know if you have gone through this, but as an entrepreneur, it's everything is your responsibility, right? Paying the rent, getting the office clean, paying the salaries, and maintaining the timesheet, and managing the leaves of your employees, generating invoices, tracking those invoices, and everything else. What I did that time, I remember that I didn't have an invoicing system, so I downloaded a open source invoicing code and uploaded it to my website server and created an invoicing system for myself. It was pretty exciting. I ran it for 2 years. The same way I downloaded Orange HR. I don't know if it still exists. I think it does. And I built Orange HR system for PeepalDesign. Amazing experience. Ran it for 2 years, and somebody hacked into it after that, and I had to get back to tools like QuickBook and Excel once again. Right. The another challenge that entrepreneurs face is money collection. How do I get the money out of my client? Right? Uh, I had a terrible time. Every month I would be imagining, okay, I am supposed to collect 10 lakhs rupees, but the money hasn't come. How would I pay the salary? So it helped me. I learned about money management, about bookkeeping, about various tools that I can use to be more effective and efficient, so that I can focus on on the primary job that I have, that is design. Sorry, excuse me. And again, a designer is a designer, and we love to design in our own little cocoon, sometimes in silos. And if you are in a job, then you have a team that is given to you. Probably you haven't created the team. Even if you have created the team is being curated. There is a huge, large support system. But when you are entrepreneur, you have to hire within your budget, and and you have to hire people who are willing to work with you. You are a startup, or you are a entrepreneur. You are not a big MNC like Google or a Microsoft that people will jump at joining you. So what I did is I hired the best that I could. Right? That includes my best friend from IDC, Rajesh Gorke. And we also hired one of the senior researchers from our SAP days. And both these extraordinary people run people designs projects these days, right? And they hired the best that they could. So I think it's a culture that you build, and it passes it on, and they run the show now completely. So you can't build an organization or a business if you don't have processes. I have a way of working, and I believe that it worked. But I can't be saying and expect everybody to follow suit, right? So what I did is collaboratively we created some processes, and even today we follow those processes. The processes are not like rigid, right? You just have to refer to those processes and use them in your project the way you find fit. Just ensure that overall it follows the process in a way, because it's a no-brainer that certain things has to be done in a specific way. Right? That helped us in scaling. We can be like Kupamandukam, right? We can be sitting in Bangalore and running a small agency and be happy. The other way is, can we look out? Can we become part of a larger ecosystem? Can we have a larger playground? So we reached out to our vendors during SAP days, and they had a alliance called UX Alliance. He said, "Hey guys, can we join you guys and become your Indian partner? We are small. We just started that time." And they worked with us. They liked it, and we became their Indian partner. And thanks to this exposure, right now we have companies like just name it: Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, WhatsApp, Spotify. Everybody is a client, right? And they continue to be our client. Our playground has become pretty large. during, I mean, as a designer, either a solo designer or a employed designer, we always have this challenge to connect with our users. How can we stay closer to the users? If you ask people to, hey, I want to talk to some end users or customers, it becomes really difficult to um, find them, right? Entrepreneurship allowed me to, negotiate that. So like, hey, you have to connect me with some of your users. I need to talk to them to be more valuable partner in your design intervention. And when that happens, you stay true to your customers and end users goals. And providing research and design services helped us in actually gaining a lot of insights into our different users mindsets, in various demographics. So that definitely helped us to become a better designer. Most importantly, what happened is, yeah, we spoke about the playground, right? Uh, in a environment where you are participating in a product or a specific project, you will never have that freedom. You don't have a birth of your choice. In entrepreneurship, you decide the size of your birth, right? And the larger the birth, the more creative you can be. You can define your constraints and context, right? So that is something that I enjoyed very much in my entrepreneurship stint, and I continue to enjoy that. So this is what we spoke about, the service entrepreneurship. That is, your client have a goal, business goal, and we as a design agency and a research agency, we unearth the problems, we find design solutions, and we hand it over to them for them to make meaning out of it and build on it and make a success story for themselves. Right? But you know what? After doing so for so many years, 12 years of service entrepreneurship, I realized that, okay, this is something that can be repeatable, and we set up the processes. My team members took over after that, and and they do a better job than me. So what else can I do there, right? And that's when you feel, hey, what can I really eat my own dog food? I designed for everybody else. Can I design for myself? Can I really design a product that I want to build? These are the questions that came up. So actually, I built some products. I built a product called Rapid UX, where you can create personas. It had persona templates. As long as you have data from your research, you can just plug it in and uh, have the persona in a PDF very quickly. Um, it's not about whether the product was great or not so great. It's about, I had an idea. Could I build it? Yes, I could build it. Was this out available in the marketplace? Yes, it was available in the market. Then I created another product which was slightly complex. That was Mobi app. It's a diary research platform. Some of the clients actually used it. The problem was, I could imagine, design, and get it built. It's like magic. I mean, I just know how to do it. The problem was, I don't know how to sell it. As part of the service, yes, probably, but not that everybody wants to buy such a product. There are too many, there are many competing products out there in the market who are well funded. Definitely not something that I could sell in the marketplace. So what I did is, I started thinking, can I build a product that can be sold in the market? I've been thinking about it after building a couple of products. And can that product be a natural extension of my capabilities? Because see, I can probably design another product which sells milk, or instantly delivers uh, groceries to your house. See, that's not my capabilities. I don't have any expertise in that. I have expertise in design. I have expertise in design operation, in learning large, in running large scale design projects, and I have a certain way of doing it, which has. That's the reason I a product that can support and accelerate design-led growth of businesses. And it was not only me. I had my SAP colleague who was a developer and my classmate at IIM Bangalore. I had a discussion with him. He is now my CTO. Shashank Deshpande, who I don't know, many of you might know him. He's a Pune-based design entrepreneur. Sold his company Claris few years back, and he had the similar challenges. I mean, I think all seasoned designers have the similar challenges. We sat down. We said, "Hey guys, can we solve it? I mean, why nobody's solving it worldwide? Why can't we solve it?" So he said, "Let's solve it," and that's when we built. We got into product entrepreneurship, right? From service to product. We design, we build the product, and let's see we can sell it in the marketplace. And that is Cubyts. You can see more information about Cubyts Cubyts.com. It's a DesignOps platform for design experts and leaders. And the basic premise of this platform was to enable designers to define their own processes and use it to run their projects. And if their processes are successful, they should be able to codify it and scale it. That means multiple projects can run such projects. So here is a small video for your consumption. It just gives you a small, it's a 1 minute something video. So it gives you a quick glimpse of what Cubyts does. And if you are more interested, please reach out to me and I'll give you a demo and give you access. So it allows you to select processes, and these processes you can create using our platform. And magically, these processes get converted into a roadmap where you can assign people, you can assign timelines, and you can track a particular activity. And the entire project is accessible to your entire team. Like the research team does something that is accessible to you, even if you are a visual designer. Because this is the challenge that we faced, we saw in the marketplace. One type of designer doesn't have access to the other type of designer's work. And then we have tons of different kind of tools like Figma or a Mural or a Miro. So how do you bring all these documents to one place so that people don't have to hunt for this information in their mailbox every time? The collaboration could be pretty seamless. And then finally, can we really allow people to access all design documents across projects from the platform itself, so that you don't have to hunt for it in Dropbox or Google Drive? They might still stay there, but it's one place which is already structured, kept in a way that can be found. Yeah, so that's in short about the platform. More, if you are interested, we can talk about it. Yeah. Okay, going ahead. Just a moment. I think it's how to go to the next slide. Yeah. So we started in 2021. We are in the beta stage right now. Yeah. So last month we raised $1.8 million in seed fund, and we are going for general availability in July 2022. A lot of learning here: sales and marketing. How do you set up an office in US? How do you ensure that it's security compliant? There are tons of other issues come. It's not only about designing a platform, but how do you execute it? How do you bring in recommendations into the platform? So a lot of learning that I'm having right now. So it's design is not only pixel perfection or only about culture, but in this case we are talking about codifying cultures that helps certain kind of designers to perform better in their job. I have a great set of teams. We have 17, 18 people and growing. Probably will be 35 people this year. Going back to the entrepreneurship and how it made me a better designer. So in essence, I'll just summarize it very quickly. definitely helped me in observing more, uh, listening more, that not only to people, but to the market pulse, to the users' thinking, and how the technology is moving forward, because everything matters. What is not there today might be there tomorrow. So you have to be very, very observant, and you have to be always listening. And that's what I learned, and definitely that helped made me a better designer. Uh, One thing that I would request everybody is, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to have these traits. You can have entrepreneurial mindset. Designers tend to take a lot of time to come up with something that they really like. I mean, they want it to be really refined. Please don't do that. Take faster decision. Go to the market sooner. Talk to users, and take ownership of whatever happens. Don't get a headache or heartaches if your design falls flat when you push it to the to your target user group. And I have done this. I Entrepreneurship actually forced me to take faster decisions. If you don't do that, you lose money. Your client loses money. They don't go to market sooner, right? And if you don't take ownership, who will take, right? And if you take ownership, actually you move ahead. And as a designer earlier, even in college, I would not showcase my work. I always thought that my fellow classmates have better designs, right? I was very shy of showing my designs. um, there is no such thing called better design or bad design, right? Everybody's design has a context. There is a reason why we design the way we design, right? My understanding, your understanding can be different. So always showcase the value and take pride in what you have done. If you are wrong, somebody will tell you. It's fine. I mean, then you move on. You make it better, but start showing it and take pride in whatever you are doing. And that is, I think, an entrepreneurial trait that you should. I mean, I would never um, uh, get rid of. I like to keep it very close to my heart. Feel free. I mean, thing is, we feel constrained in an environment where we have to report to somebody, right? We have to justify why we did what we did. We have to justify every little thing, including why we spent 1 rupee on making a graphic better, for example, right? Uh, Feel free. I mean, be free. I mean, being an entrepreneur actually makes you more free. You are not you might make mistakes, but you will learn. But you have a very, very wide playground to make that mistake and learn from it. So in short, I think as a designer, I learned to design well, but it was self-referencing. As a design entrepreneur, we are talking about designing well and scaling it. The question is, why scaling is so critical, right? Scaling is critical because it helps you to uh, expand yourself, your horizon, right? And it helps you to multiply yourself in many different ways. At the same time, gives you an opportunity to explore different areas that you have never seen. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in that little thing and saying that, okay, I know the best, I am the best. Then that is not entrepreneurial. You can be the best designer in the little area that you have chosen to be. But being entrepreneurial is always exploring, always learning, always unstuck, right? And that's how I think entrepreneurship has made me a better person, and definitely a better designer, because that's my domain. And with this, I will like to stop my presentation and take your um, questions. Thank you very much. You can stay in touch with me on LinkedIn or email me. Thank you very much.
Great, Auro. Thank you so much. Excellent. Um, I mean, I still want to see more of your product, but yes, we will reserve it for a different occasion.
Sure.
I'm opening the floor for any questions, comments, or additional thoughts. Please go ahead. You could put your raise the hand symbol on so that you know. Yes, we can go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Auro. So I
Yeah,
had a
hi.
question around, you mentioned there's a strong use of network that helped you.
Mhm, mhm.
And then you also mentioned not to give advices for free, right? So uh, how do you balance this, let's say, when your friends or colleague ask for small advice on projects? Like, how do you balance basically between these two aspects?
Okay. No, I don't mean advice in the sense a friendly advice is always easy to give. It's no brainer.
Mm,
But if you are talking about creating value, right? If somebody says
mm,
that, okay, hey, boss, uh, Riken, shall I take this funding or not? It's an advice. You might give me
mm,
2 lines advice and say that that's fine, right? But
mm,
advice which creates tons of value and it takes so much of your time, um, then you have to put a price to it. Now,
mm.
the your question is how can you balance building a network at the same time taking money from them? Is that the point?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I have clients like, for example, Philips is a client, right? Um,
Mm,
and their studio head was RX Edition, and he's a close friend as well of Rajesh Gorke, for example. It's a
mm,
network, but we are still doing business, right? Business is when we create a win-win situation for each other, right? SAP, I
mm,
have a network. We have the from senior to junior. I left SAP, and they still ask me back to come as a consultant. But it's a
mm,
win-win situation. I charge money, they get value. So we should talk about value. It's not about a small little advice, but about a
mm,
long-term engagement where we both sides win. Because I know you, Riken, I will ensure that you don't fail within your
mm,
organization. And
mm.
you give me the project because you know that I will ensure that you succeed and I deliver the best that I can. Right. I think that's the level of networking and business relationship we should have.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot.
Just to add, probably the network also gets more strengthened if you're able to actually convert it. I mean, not all. You put a business context to it. I think the network also, I mean, as you said, a win-win strengthens it much better, and there is a mutual respect for each other's participation in that one. Yeah,
Agree.
Mm.
Aditya, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's actually Atul who wants to ask the question. Yeah, Auro, hi.
Hi, Atul. Tell me.
How can I use your product?
You can use my product because you do architectural projects, correct? Yeah.
Design, yeah, architectural structure based projects. Yeah.
So we can discuss. I mean, it's a platform, right? A platform. It allows. It's mostly built for the software products, but as a architect, you also use software tools, right, to generate your designs, to engage with your customers, and probably you do it with through WhatsApp and email, etc. I don't know.
And
Maybe.
there are certain platforms like analysis software like STAD, ANSYS, all this stuff.
Yes,
So,
I understand. So ANSYS, TAD kind of tools, they are creator tools. Like you create stuff and then
analysis tools.
okay, you create and you analyze, right?
Yeah.
We can discuss how my platform is not a creation tool; it's an operations tool. That means you can use this platform to bring together all kind of work that is being done, or your different teams who are engaged in your project, and sharing across the board all kind of information that is being generated. So but I can't really promise that your carpenter will be using my platform. But yeah,
No, but
but
then, yeah, okay. Yeah.
yeah, but definitely, I think that's a definitely there is a use case. Right now, my focus is on the software industry, software enterprises, and alike. But definitely, we can discuss.
But how is it different from a project management tool?
Okay, so there are project management tools like your Asanas and ClickUp and stuff like that, right? They are project management tools. They're made for tasks and issue tracking or task tracking, and task assignments, and planning the project. But designers' way of doing is slightly different. The way we work is slightly different. The kind of artifacts that we generate, the way we do things are different, right? What we have done is we have built it around how designers work. Project management tools are again generic platforms, right? So you define the way you want. So if you are using Asana, you can configure it the way you want to use it, and that's why they're successful. We have taken a tricky challenge of making designers define their own way of working and scaling it. Otherwise, everybody will be creating their own little process, own little silo way of working, doing their visual design. Somebody's and your researcher doing something somewhere else. Nobody will ever come together, and it's a big challenge. The pain point that we see. Sorry, Atul, it's not architecture, but what we have seen is in like big companies like Microsoft or Google or Airbnb, they have started having DesignOps roles, people who bring everything together, right? And if you really want to democratize that thing across the small or large companies alike, you need something that will help them to operationalize design in a very different or easy manner. And that's where we are playing. It's not a project management is 20% aspect of my platform.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be there, right? Project management is not going to go away. It has to be there.
Yeah, thank you. I will talk to you later. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks, Atul. Ashish, you want to go?
Yeah, hi, thanks. Hi, Auro.
Hi, Ashish.
Part of my question is already asked by Aditya/Atul, so I'll just skip from there. So Asana, Basecamp, even Notion and all these things, as you mentioned, they are task management.
Yeah.
And congratulations on getting a very key keyword of DesignOps. Like we have been hearing DevOps this, DevOps that, and whatnot. So DesignOps is actually very good keyword.
Right.
You also mentioned that Google Drive, Dropbox, things stay there, and 20% is task management. So I'm assuming 80% is design asset management and previewing designs, maybe editing them collaboratively, or like this.
No. Okay.
What's the
Okay. So my platform is more about there are designers has three parts, right? People, processes, and craft. Right. You are doing the craft in tools like the 800-pound gorilla like Figma these days, right? Or HT or earlier days Photoshop or Illustrator, right? We are not suggesting which tool you should use. Designers have their own choice of tools to use. Researchers use their own set of tools, right, to do research, right? User Zoom or a optimal workshop or Indimo, and the tons of tools that are there. We are also not getting there. What we are giving you is a way wherever you work, you integrate your work in Cubyts so that your entire team can access this information on demand or anytime. That is one aspect of it. Second aspect is people. When you start a project, do you know which people should be working on what? Right? Not unicorn designers are myth. I mean, you can kick some people or squeeze some designers to be everybody at once. But the fact is, people love to do visual design or love to do interaction design. They love to do content design. So yeah, the skill sets evolve with time, and that's why we have so many different kind of designers in the marketplace right now. So how do you map competency with the kind of work that your project demands? Right? This mapping is also a critical aspect of DesignOps. That's what we are going to do. That is the people part of it. Process. Ashish's way of doing versus Ravi's way of doing can be different. But there are processes like design sprint, design thinking, double diamond, agile. Yeah. There are tons of these processes which have been pretty successful. Like JTBD, I don't know. So a bunch of processes are there. They're successful because people found solace in those processes. The cold start problem was not there, right? So we are saying, can we really codify these processes? Can you, as a design leader, codify the process so that your entire organization can follow it? That will help you in building a better design culture than hoping that my design culture will improve, right? If you know what competencies you are looking for within your organization, you will hire accordingly. Can you set it up somewhere, You are doing it somewhere, right? In Excel or somewhere you are doing it, right? But where? So DesignOps will try to bring all this together. And finally, I was talking to one of the large investors, and he was saying, "You People Design did when I was in Make My Trip. People Design did some great research work." I said, "When?" So he said, "2 years back." Like, I don't remember what we did. Do you remember what we did? He said, "No, but some great work." Well, now you ask me, find that report for me. I will not be able to find, because my people who worked on it have left the company. You have left Make My Trip. If you ask Make My Trip guys, they will never be able to find it. So the problem with organizational knowledge is it gets lost. For design, it gets lost over a period of time. Some good research work that you have done, which can be valid for a few years, is lost. So why it is lost? Even though we have Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, and everything, Confluence and whatnot, SharePoint, everything is there, because they're not structured, they're not put in a certain way. And second thing is, there is no recommendation engine integrated with it, right? So we want to solve that little problem. It's challenging. And finally, of course, collaboration is a topic that is always there. You can do collaboration in Figma, you can do collaboration in Cubyts as well. The same Figma file can be you can do collaboration in Cubyts. Same mural file, you can do collaboration in Cubyts. All kind of collaboration across different creator tools. If you can do it in one place, won't your life be little easier? That's the whole idea that we have, Ashish. That answers your question.
Great to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashish. Atvankar sir, go ahead.
Hello, Auro. It was nice to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You did a wonderful talk, and I can see the entire journey, you becoming an entrepreneur from a designer. So, congratulations for your work. I just have one question. I've seen a lot of people who do background in engineering, design, and all, and then go into management and try to learn that. Have you ever come across an idea where a manager wants to become a designer?
Yes, this is what happening today, sir. And thank you very much for your kind words. It means a lot to me. Yes, this is what happening right now. A lot of product managers are looking at design as a differentiator in their career. They know that their product will not succeed if design is not an important aspect of the product development. In last 2 years itself, we have seen 10x growth in designer demand, and product managers themselves looking for ways to integrate design interventions into their product development lifecycle. So it is happening, and they're taking off small courses through Coursera, and I don't know, there are a bunch of tools, and learning has become little easy thanks to internet. So people are learning a lot, but it's like instead of going to the doctor, you are Googling medicine and eating it, right? So we want to break that challenge, and there is definitely a lot of demand. And the reason why we are building Cubyts is, if a product manager really interested in bringing design as a differentiator, they should know how to do it. What is the best way of doing it? Hire the right people, know the best practices upfront, and then on top of that, you do the right things. You build your capabilities. So to answer your question, yes, managers are showing a lot of interest, but there is no formal education on design thinking, workshops, and etc. are becoming very popular only because of that. So if design institutes start giving some executive programs, or if it's not been already given, I'm sure there will be definite demand.
Thank you very much.
I have a question, Auro. Just want to know, because you have done two kinds of businesses. You have done a service business and then a product business. What is the difference between those two in terms of entrepreneur, a design entrepreneur to go ahead, go about doing these two? Are there some very distinct differences that you see between these two?
Yeah. So I'll just rephrase your question. Your question is, what is the difference between a service entrepreneurship and a product entrepreneurship? Can I put it that way?
Yeah, I mean, that is right. But I'm saying, as you went about, were you able to experience some very distinct differences? I mean, yourself only when you're approaching them.
Yeah. So the difference is very clear. it's like since when I started my service entrepreneurship, I started with 1 lakh rupees in hand, right? And I could make money from day one. Of course, I had challenges in terms of collecting money, but at least I had done the job and I was supposed to get money. And I did get my money. And in 10, 12 years, we have built a good company. I mean, we are a 30 crore company now, which is not bad. We have 60, 70 people. And we are doing well. We are growing aggressively now. We have a good brand. But the thing is, it's a service business. That means clients have requirements and you have to work for somebody, right? Clients have a requirement and you solve their problem through services. And this can become very repetitive, right? In employment, what happens? You have one kind of job and you keep doing it and you get bored. Then you switch job, you go to another job. So that thing is solved by becoming a service entrepreneur. You keep doing different projects for different clients and keep yourself engaged. After a while, it can become a very lifestyle-ish business, or you outgrow that position and try to do something different, right? But in product entrepreneurship, it's very different because you are building a product for the market. You have to understand your users yourself, right? It's not like you can ask your client saying that, okay, hey, have you done research and do you know who is your user? Here you have to know your users, right? And you have to know that there is a market demand. You have to understand the right time to market, right? If you might have the great product, but the time is not right, you might fall flat on your face. You might design a great product, but the execution can be very crappy. So building the right execution team is also very critical. Unlike the design entrepreneurship where you can keep hiring designers, bunch of designers, and if they're great, you will succeed. Here, you have versatile set of people, sales and marketing. You have designers, you have developers, you have AI, ML people, and you have product managers. You have different kind of people. You have to engage with them. Then building a product takes time, years. It's not like 1 day, 2 day. It takes years. We have already spent. Actually, we started thinking about it in mid 2020, and we have a product in March 2022. Right, that again a beta product. So probably in another 3 months we will have a product that is available in the marketplace. Making changes to products is so different and difficult, and you need money, constantly money. Here you are not making money for a very long period of time. In service, you make money from day one, right? That's why you need funding. People say that I used to think, why you need funding? You can build a product and sell it and make money. You don't build a product and sell it just like that, right? It takes humongous effort, and that's why you need funding. That's why we picked up funding, right? It's a very different story. This entrepreneurship is like, very, I would say, holistic, very unique. It's nothing compared to the service entrepreneurship that I had. And the learnings are tremendous. And I'm scared to death, if you ask me. And it's okay to be scared.
Sorry. I think that sums it up very well. Advankar sir has one more question, I think. Sir, please.
It's not a question, it's an observation on the previous question. I think product is like bringing up your own baby, and service is like creating a kindergarten or a creche.
Yeah, absolutely.
So differentiates the two.
Yes. And here, in that case, your accountability is, it's a business relationship. Here, it's a parent-child relationship. You are right.
Absolutely. We got about 4 minutes to go. Anyone has a question? I think Aditya has a question again.
Atul. Auro, the timing of your cough and the sentence was timed, well timed.
Any more questions? We are just about 4 minutes to go. Maybe you can have 2 questions. And as people probably are thinking about a question, Auro, is this product be available for people to try it on trial? I mean,
Yes.
maybe in
Yes.
the forum you could share, because a lot of us on DesignOps would be able to use and give you a lot of feedback.
Absolutely. What I request you is just go to cubyts.com and fill up a three field form, just
Okay.
your email ID, and because it goes through my onboarding team,
Okay.
and I'll definitely just ask them to onboard you guys, whosoever
Great.
wants it, very quickly.
That would be fun to try out.
So it's freely available. I mean, we just have to onboard because we don't have a direct general availability yet. So
Okay.
feel free.
Any more questions? Yeah, I think looks like you're kind of through. Auro, thank you so much. First of all, despite your cough and cold and all that, taking this up and doing this for us is extremely appreciable. I mean, you are venturing into something very, very risky, and I think we learned how risky it is when you spoke about the difference between the two entrepreneurship journeys. And I don't know. I mean, I mean, at least to my knowledge, there are not many who actually venture into creating products in this country, and that gives a lot of pride for this community to have seen somebody like you do this. As far as the points that you raised are very, very useful. The things that you spoke about, how entrepreneurship made you a better designer in terms of how you looked at skills like negotiation. I mean, it's not about negotiation from a business negotiation perspective. You spoke about how you strengthen your conviction when you negotiate. It could be for resources, it could be for sale. Then the things that you spoke about in terms of creating your own playground, and also the importance of scaling. I think there are some excellent insights that you summarized so beautifully for us to take back to the session, and I'm sure we'll all actually benefit from these insights. And I know many of us may not be entrepreneurs. Some of us will be working in an organization. Some of them are still probably running in a very small scale. Some at a large scale and varying skills. But what is very important is that you have driven a fact that it's not that you need to run a company to bring this entrepreneurial spirit. Even in the job that you do, you still can bring those 6 points that you brought up in terms of decision making and all that, and how it actually improves your skill. So that, I think, is a takeaway. And certainly we will look at our work very differently and keep referring to all the insights that you passed on to us today. And on behalf of this entire community, I wish Cubyts all the best. And I can't wait to see the product succeed, so that you can also take pride in the fact that we were some of those who knew that this is coming. So I wish your team all the best, and hope to see the product live, and certainly the community will participate in trying out your product and giving the feedback. And with that, I thank you, your team, wish them all the best, and also thank all those who took time to participate in today's event. And the recording of this, of course, will be made available soon. And also, please wait for the announcements for the upcoming sessions. Thank you, Auro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ravi, for your kind words, and thanks for listening to the session. Really appreciate everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Auro. Very nice.
Yes, yes. Thanks. Very nice.
Stay in touch.